Assalamualaikum to all the panel examiners, supervisor and coordinator. My name is Nusawana binti Rahaizi, ID number 2019-542033. Very thankful to Miss Tabitha, my supervisor, throughout the completion of the research based on the topic diversity of the butterfly order Lepidoptera suborder Rhopalocera in Malaysia, which is type 2. Firstly, we are going to look at the chapter 1 of introduction. In terms of a species richness, Lepidoptera is of the most diverse order of insect followed by the Calyptera. This research will benefit anyone who wants to study about diversity of butterfly. By giving the opportunity for public to identify Lepidoptera species found in the Southeast Asia, particularly in Malaysia, and provide some useful information on the ecosystem of the forest. In face of the global change, habitat change, and the loss due to the industrial, commercial, agricultural development are the largest risks to butterfly. The loss of ecosystem render the entire environment incapable of supporting the animals that live there. The objective is to determine the diversity of Rhopalocera in Malaysia, to analyze the biotic and abiotic factors that affect the distribution in Malaysia, and lastly to assess knowledge on how butterfly samples are done. So here is the research question that identify of objective study will be addressed. In chapter 2 of literature review, there are a few main ideas. First, we are going to look at the fact of butterfly. The order Lepidoptera belongs to the butterfly. The scientific names of the Lepidoptera species described as wing with scale. So here is the body part of the butterfly. I'm going to highlight a few parts of the butterfly, which first is antenna. It is a large and known act as primary organ of smell. Butterfly antenna is a filiform and club-like, while moth is the feathery-like. Next, as humans, we have mouth to eat. Same goes to the butterfly have proboscis to feed. In order to adjust the various pattern, the proboscis varies between the classes of Lepidoptera. Next is thorax. It's located behind the head and it's recognized as the backbone of the insect's body. It has a three-segmented part which is mesothorax, prothorax, and metathorax. Different segments have a different function that hold the different parts of the body. The most important part is wing, which is the bright colors and mostly active during the day compared to the moth have a dull color and active during the night. As you can see in the figure show the life cycle of butterfly, and I want to highlight four main stages which are egg, larva, pupae, and adults. The first stage is egg. It depends on the species on how they want to lay the egg, either individually or cluster, and which host plant they want to lay the egg. Next, the larva can be described as cruciform in shape, long, soft, and capsulated head. It is important due to the primary feeding phase. As you can see, the new pupa is more in green in color and darkens toward the late stages. In order to produce and lay the egg, adults might be seeking its partner, and when it reaches the adults, it will complete the life cycle. Commonly, butterflies prefer warmer regions such as riparian, forest, garden, and grassland. Different species prefer different habitat. As you can see, the layer of the jungle where the butterfly found at the second layer, which is canopy, at the head of the 20 until 30 meter to reach the sunlight. This demonstrates that the forest ecosystem with the more forest canopy layers and dense vegetation diversity sustain the more species. The factor that affecting diversity is divided by two, which is abiotic and biotic factor. The main abiotic factor is temperature. It can heavily affect the flight activity, larval behavior, and production of butterfly. Average temperature range between 20 until 26 degrees Celsius, and the optimum temperature for the butterfly to search for the food between 23 until 30 degrees Celsius. Other than that is the microclimates. The butterfly will usually meet on the wet fields that are damp and saturated in the tropic with some minerals, like level, rainfall, speed wind, and humidity are another factor that affect the survival of developmental stages. Biotic factor also affected the diversity, which is host plant and nectar availability. Host plants are plants that adult butterfly depends to raise their larval young. Female butterfly lay their egg direct onto their host since the caterpillar cannot travel for food. The abundance of the UiTM Cawangan species at all heights was attributed to the variety of the food plant. Distributed forest was the right range of the food plants accessible to butterfly in area. Butterfly need wide variety of flora for reproduction, including the grasses, shrub, and trees which are abundant in this area. Butterfly can be classified into a few families. One of the family is Papilionidae that called as swallowtails, that mean no tails. It has a black body color with the white, red, yellow, and green marks. It most found in the flower of lantana, where they sip the nectar from flower for a short time. Example of the species are Arispe antipatus, Arispe serpedon, and Papiliodameles. Next family is Nymphalidae, called a brushfoot due to the non-functional main set of the leg for both sexes. Their forelegs are held folded below the prothorax, which has been reduced and useless for walking. A few subfamilies are Nymphalidae, Apaturinae, Danainae, Caracinae, Amantucinae, and Saturinae. Family Peridae called as white yellow because mostly of the species has white and yellow color on the upper side of their wing. Example of the species are Salatera panda and Sephora pectolicus. Lastly, the family of Licanidae that have metallic shine and brightly colored in blue, lilac, and copper. They are small tail like a projection, tiny foreleg, and black claw. Can be found in unusual places such as mud puddles, cavendish, and fermenting fruits and others. The next point is taxonomy. In previous era, lack of knowledge dynastic character will make the description of the morphological character difficult. Recently, researchers have identified that international databases such as Basic Local Alignment Search Tool, GenBank, and Barcode of Life Data are the best and efficient way to solving the issue compared to the traditional one morphology taxonomic methods. Moving on, we're gonna look at the role of the butterfly in ecosystem. Let's start with the indicator of the environment. Lepidoptera are well organized as ecological marker of the ecosystem held in many parts of the world. By changing their own existence and abundance of indicator species are expected to indicate the abundance of other species as well as physical and chemical changes in the environment. Secondly is the pollination. When butterfly visit the flowers, small edge of the butterfly touch on the anther, where the pollen adhere to the wings. When a butterfly visits another flower, pollen from its body will brush against the stigma of the flower, so the pollination will occur between the flower. Next is source of food. Other animals such as rodent that depends on the butterfly as source of the food would suffer as a result of declining number of butterfly. At times, this loss will bring to the entire ecology to be a halt. Butterfly can also act as the bioindicator. Its capacity to feed on the variety of host plant, eating behavior which include the feeding of flower, fruit, honeydew, tree sap, rotting materials, and decaying animal. Another is genetic variation in plant. Butterfly feed on the plant nectar, resulting the generates genetic diversity in the plant. Some butterfly species fly enormous distance and pollinates the plant that are far apart. This will aid in the recovery of the diseased plant and increase the chances of the survival. Butterfly sampling can be done by using the pollen walk, transect count, sweep net, and bait trap. A study by Min 2014 showed that the bait trap is the effective method. So here is the step to preserve the sample of the butterfly. In conclusion, the butterfly benefit the environment by serving as the pollinator, prey, and genetic diversity in plant. More research for the comparison of butterfly in urban and wild ecosystem is needed to build a more environmentally aware public. Habitat management and good integration of conservation area must be prioritized. It also suggests that there should be an education on the ecosystem and animal conservation and restoration at the secondary level by eating healthy products, avoiding pesticide in agriculture, and also the nectar sources. To end my presentation, I would like to quote a saying from K. D'Angelo, "No garden truly blooms until the butterfly dance upon it." That's all from me. Thank you.